Okay, let's get started. For those, if they join late, that's fine. Hello and welcome to Wolff Tools' first tool webinar series featuring the Wolff Rail Cut and the Wolff Strip Cutter. I am Dan Gill. I'm the VP of Wolff Tools. I have been with Wolff Tools for 8.5 years. I would like to welcome Corey Dickerson, our Midwest Wolff sales guy. He will be doing the presentation. You can ask questions by clicking on the chat button and entering your question. You can do this throughout the presentation. All questions will be answered at the end. If you cannot stay on for the answers, you can also email your questions and we will respond to your email with the answers. Corey, take the floor. It's all yours.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. Hello, and thank you to all you guys who could jump on the call today. This is our, we'd like to welcome you all to the Wolff Tools, a division of Utz North America. And we are going to, hold for a second. So, as I was saying, we're going to talk today with the Wolff Tools, the division of Utz North America. A productivity series entitled Productivity as Our Product. As we all know, the current status in building is lean production and construction. We also know we are the last trade on the job site, and that's usually pretty difficult for us because when we get in, we're on time crunch. Some of the other trades have extended sometimes, and it usually leaves us a time frame. I've talked to one of my guys and he said it leaves us 24 hours to get a 72-hour job done. So our windows are usually sliced due to the actions of the other trades that are on the job. The other hurdle that we've got in the industry is that we're hit with a labor crisis, and it's pretty tough. Some of our more experienced and our I don't want to call them our older guys. They're just very experienced installers are retiring. And when we say retiring in flooring, I mean those guys never ever retire to say. But we are losing some of our well experienced guys, and getting the new installers in the building has been kind of a task. With all those things, with all those factors into play, with all those cogs in there, it brings you right into Utz North America with productivity as our product. Through this series, we're going to show you that through innovation and sophistication, we have the products and solutions to increase productivity, production through the and time saving. I'm sorry, through making our industry a lot more attractive to the new installers and that we want to bring into the industry. The tools we bring to the industry are not only built for time saving and productivity, they're also safety first and reduces the time guys spent on their hands and knees. Our tools are safety first. They help us to, again, increase productivity because we don't have guys getting injured on the jobs using our tools. They're safety driven. So if you add Wolff Tools and then you throw in our Utz powder line, you will have productivity is our product. A history of Wolff. So here we're going to start up. We'll start it up again. So the history of Wolff, what the pioneer spirit is at our origins here. On January 1954, Hans Wolff founded Wolff, and it was a company for mechanics. The development of the world's first floor stripping machine for the removal of floor covering had been marked the beginning of success story for Hans Wolff. And 1972, I believe, the first Wolff turbo was patented, and In 2002, the Wolff company was acquired by the Utsi Newts company. And in that joint that brought the powder division with a sophisticated tool line. And then in 2015, I was actually there the day that they opened the new facility, is when Wolff moved into the new facility in Ilsfeld, Germany. We're going to start with the rail cut today and the strip cutter. The rail cut is it's one of our cutting tools that's designed to be a double cut, a double cut piece of a double cut tool. I'm sorry. It easily double cut rubber. Another feature of it is it sits on an easy glide rail system, so it gives you a consistent factory edge cut. It's got a depth adjustable blade. That blade can adjust from anywhere from a quarter of an inch, from 0 quarter of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. So it can drop down to about a half an inch. So you got your quarter inch, your 3/8 inch rubber goods that it can easily adjust to, and any of your other type of vinyl flooring that you may want to run a double cut with a straight edge on. That's what it's got an ergonomic shaped handle, which gives you a safety handle on the cutter itself, which easy glide cut. The traction grip rail, if you guys use a straight edge and a knife, you know how that how your straight edge can sometimes glide on the floor. Now there are some straight edges with the cork backing on it to reduce that slipping, but it's got a nice non-marking traction grip rail, a traction grip under the bottom of the rail. When I first saw the rail cut, I immediately thought track saw, and that's the first thing that popped in my head when I first saw it. But it's an easy cutter that just sits on the rail and it glides so smoothly. That traction grip also ensures a straight cut. We can offer additional rails for the rail cut, and that's to give you a longer cut. The rail cut actually comes at right at about 4'6" rail, and you can add an additional rail on that to make it a little longer. Application examples for the rail cut, you can use on vinyl sheet goods, so planks, LVP, LVT, rubber sheets, sports flooring, interlocking floor, carpet rolls and tiles. I'll tell you a little something. My wife actually opened up a fitness gym, and she wanted zip tile to go up against a sports flooring, but she didn't want the tabs to show, and she didn't want a transition piece that was 2.5 inches that would actually that would change the aesthetics of the floor, where you're paying more attention to the transition than you were the floor. So I did not have a rail cut, and I had a straight edge and a knife. And if anyone who has cut rubber flooring before, and this was 3/8 inch, I think it was Johnsonite, maybe Replay or React. It was it was the locking system from Johnsonite. If you all know, we've cut a lot of rubber floor. You've got your knife in your hand, you've got your straight edge, and you put that knife in your hand and you put it down and you go through the material. I'm gonna flip us a page right quick so you can see what I'm talking about here. You've got your straight edge and you've got your knife, and you've got that old way of performing a cut. So it would take you 3 passes to cut like 4 tabs off of one tile. Three cuts through, and that blade, you've got to flip the blade, and you got to do, on your next 3, and you're constantly running out of blades. You're constantly putting your fingers in danger, and that motion of cutting through that rubber is so tedious and it's painful. You finish and you feel like Popeye. So we like to compare that method to an old style Indy car and how it would take them minutes on end to even make a pit stop. How that car, like that old car, the actual straight edge and the knife, it works. And that car, that old Indy car, it worked in that time. But we can make it so much better. We can make it so much sophisticated, and we can do something involving getting the guys off their hands and knees and creating that productivity. How do we do that? Well, we go to the new way. We go to, if you see here, I've got the rail cut on the rail with some tabs of some interlocking Johnsonite flooring there. I can drop the blade and it will cut in one pass. I can drop the blade to where it can cut in one pass. Yes, even if I'm doing a double cut, I can make that cut so close to cutting all the way through, and then I can come and back cut it. So much faster, so much quicker. Look at that car. That car looks a lot better. That car is going to be a lot faster. Why would we want to go back and continue doing the things that we did back 20, 30 years ago? I know how our industry is. My grandfather's grandfather taught him to do it this way, and this is the way that we've been taught to do it. Why not step up to this new age of doing it? It is so much easier, so much faster. So we no longer have that multi 5 or 6 minute pit stop. Now we've got a 5 or 10 second pit stop. We can get in and out. We got a better car. It's leaner. It's built to do the job better, more efficient, and get more productivity. And not only that, a lot more sophisticated. Look at a quick little video I would like to show you guys of the rail cut in action. Let's just take a minute and we'll check it out. I'll give you a little commentary as we're going over. So in this one, as you all can see, it looks like we're going to be using our pressure roller. But what we're doing is we're doing a double cut on some vinyl, probably some linoleum. And so what the installer is doing now, he's cutting a couple of pieces so he put the track on, and now we're going to adjust the blade to the proper depth when he goes in to do the double cut. So it's just one screw and the blade can slide down, and you can make that depth whatever, up to a 1/2 inch, whatever you want it to be at. If you want it to cut through, you can cut through, but remember, now we're doing the same thing that we did before with our blades. We'll be hitting the concrete. But if you wanted to score it, a deep score, you can do that. What he's showing you now is how to attach the additional rails so you can make longer cuts. And that little black marking that's on the back, that's our traction grip. So that's what holds it down to the floor, so it doesn't move. He's taking his time. He's doing a really good job at that. I have had a very short-lived career with the rail cut, but I'm learning more and more about it. It's a really cool tool. And as you can see, we're getting the double cut now, and the rail cut can actually go from wall to wall. As you see on the blade side, there are 2 spots for blades, so you can actually get it all the way to the wall. He's actually opting out, and he's using his Wolff knife. Yeah, you see that, the old Wolff knife. But he cut all the way from the wall back to where we stopped, and now it's going to go back. It's going to do a little undercut on here, and you're going to see how it brings you right up to a fit to seam there. Nice and clean, very easy. So we've got some pointers here about the productivity of the rail cut. But before I touch on that, I had my first run-in with the rail cut. I had a gentleman down in Kentucky, and he was looking for something that could cut I think he was trying to cut ropey safety cork. And he said, "Do you have any tools that can do that?" I'm going to be honest with you. I hadn't really worked with the rail cut yet. So I was like, let's see. I got a tool in my van. Let me run in my van and grab it. So I went to my van and I grabbed it and I brought it to him. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm saying this to myself. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But when I walked in with it, I was like, yeah, here you go. You can use this. And we set a couple tiles down on its floor, and the rail cut straight through it. Now inside, I was like, yeah, wow, I didn't know that could do that. But outside, I was like, yeah, see, I told you it could do that. It actually surprised me. It blew my socks off. I mean, that was one of my first one of my first times using the rail cut and being introduced to it with rubber, and it kind of floored me. With productivity, it's got a rail straight edge cutting. It's factory edge cutting, so you can get into that and into a cut, and you can get it right back to that factory edge that the flooring started with. Adjustable for different thicknesses, because you know you're going to have a 1/4 inch floor, a 3/8 inch, and your fun part is going to be, how do I get this thing cut? How do I save my blades, because you're going to run through blades. And another safety aspect is the less amount of blades that I run through, that's the least amount of chances that I'm changing them in and out, possibly can get a cut. The non-marking traction rail, I mean, that means that you're going to have no marks on your floor. And the additional rails can give you that. You can get a 9 foot cut with just 2 rails. I sent one of these over to I've sent a rail cut over to a guy of mine, Brent Fike, who is the general manager of technical over at Ropey, and his testimony was, love it for LVT, rubbers and sports floor, and I would say an installer needs one. It's a phenomenal tool to have. Once I got familiar with it, I was kind of blown away with it. Like I said. To recap on the rail cut, Easy Glide rail cutter, various material. You can do carpet tile with it. Adjustable, and it's wall-to-wall blades. So those blades can adjust up and down from wall-to-wall cut. You can push or pull it. And one of the things that I don't have on here is that you can be a lefty or a righty using it. It doesn't matter. I mean, you just flip you flip the rail over and you go the opposite way. It doesn't matter. And then the last thing is, it's a safety first tool. What is safety first to you? You're not cutting off fingers. Guys are cutting much quicker. Like I said, I was using it for zip tile. 3 cuts is when you're through. That's like known throughout the industry when you're cutting rubber flooring. Three passes and it's through. On those passes, I can actually be cutting it different every time. But with this, I've got 1 cut and it's straight. If I'm using my straight edge of my knife, it's possible that I can tilt that knife a little bit, and now I don't have that straight edge. So all those things come into play when using the rail cut. It is a phenomenal tool, guys. The next cutter is the strip cutter. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm a little bit, I'm getting to like the rail cut, but I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit, the strip cutter is kind of my favorite. It's kind of like my little boo. I love the strip cutter. And the strip cutter, you can use it for cutting strips, trimming edges, creating that factory edge. If you want that salvage edge cutter, strip cutter. It's so cool. We actually have 3 strip cutters. We have a small, medium, and a large one. I've used the large one. I haven't used the other 2 because they're kind of limited for what I need to have done, but they are useful. I have sold I've sold a few of them. The smallest one can go from 0 to 3 inches with strips, and then you have 1 inch to 8 inches, and then you have 2.5 inches to 12 inch with the strip cutter. The strip cutter, it's a 3-blade cut system. So you've got a score, you've got an undercut, and then you also have a pass-through cut. This cutting system actually allows the material. I want to say it pretty much just pulls the material through for you. It's almost like cutting warm butter with a hot knife. That's how it works. It's so easy. It has it's got a measuring guide on it. It isn't metric, but that's an easy conversion for us. But with that measuring guide on there, you're going to get the same precise and consistent cuts every single time. There's not going to be a variation of width. You're not going to lose a millimeter here or an eighth or a 32nd of an inch there. The material's not going to grow and shrink on you when you're cutting strips with the strip cutter. It has a guide handle. It has a handle on it. It's got a pull and a guide handle. And when the material is going through the channel and it's coming through the cutter, it actually just glides through. It's got a couple holes on the over the channel, so you can actually see the material as it's going through the tool. And those guide handles, again, that takes your hand away from the traditional way of cutting sheet goods and creating strips. The material channel, it has its limitations, and it's going to be there. But the cool thing is that there are materials that are a little bit too thick to go through it. But the cool thing is that if that's your issue, then we've got the rail cut, and it's right there for you. So, but it also has the strip cut also has wheels on it to help that material go right through the cutter. I mean, it's a cool tool to have. Not only it looks pretty cool too, but you can use it for vinyl sheet goods, LVP, planks, tile. You can cut strips for stairs, risers. I've had guys use it to cut. What we have it for? I had a guy use it for a material he wanted for a straight code base, and it kind of freaked me out, but it worked. I mean, he cut a 4-inch code base out of his material, and it worked just fine for him. And it was a consistent 4-inch cut every single time. It's such a versatile tool. You can cut borders with it. What about inlay strips, feature strips? You can do all those different styles of cuts with the strip cutter. Another fun thing that you can do in certain applications is if you're working with a wood grain or a wood plank style grain of roll goods or sheet goods, you can take the strip cutter and set it on a certain plank run, and you can rip that cut every time. I was with my guys up at Gerfloors, and we cut some strips, and we called some of the guys in, and they walked right past the strips that we cut on the floor because they matched the floor identical. I've used it on Omnisport from Target, Outro, Armstrong, Ropey. The cutter is just one that guys absolutely love it. You can also, if you're a guy that you actually like the hook blade cut better, we have an attachment for a hook blade. Right here, you're going to see two shots. The old way of doing of cutting strips is you get your tape measure out, you measure 6 inches in, 6 inches in, 6 inches in, all the way down. You make your marks. You come back with your marker. You make a mark straight down. Now you're ready to cut. The strip cutter way is you set it to a certain size, and then you just get right into the material. I was in a training center, and I had a journeyman challenge me on using the strip cutter, he kind of said, you know, I can cut faster and more precise the way I do it. And I was like, let's do it, bro. Let's get this thing going. So we sat there and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 15 cuts. We'll do 15 cuts. You do it your way, I'll do it my way. He started, I started, I was done with 15 cuts and he was just getting into his 7th cut. So I told him, I'll give you 7 cuts. I'll give you 7. I've got 15 done. I've already doubled you. I mean, I've doubled, or I've cut it in half. I've cut the timing in half. I've gotten off my knees and you were still down on your knees, straight edging and cutting. And he told me, he goes, well, I don't do the mark every time. I just make my first cut and then I cut off that. And I was like, whoa. Well, he didn't measure every time. I just went, whoa. So I grabbed his. Every one of my cuts were consistent end to end. You could touch them end to end and they were consistent all the way through. His grew and shrunk a 32nd of an inch because he used a marker and he went off that marker. And I told him, I said, every time you cut, which side of the mark are you cutting on? It is so, guys don't, and once he's understood it, it's so funny when you see things light up in a guy's head. He was like, oh, I got it. Now, like, he bought one immediately. This tool is one that it's one of those, you gotta have it. Here we've got a little video and we're just gonna show it cutting. So right there, you can see the 3 blades, the top blade, the undercut, the cut through. And like I said, and those are the couple of holes on top where you can see the material going through. It pretty much just pulls the material through the, it pretty much just pulls the material through the cutter. It's so cool to use it. There's our guide handles, and that's how it rolls so easily on the rollers that have there. Smooth cut. So what I did was I showed the traditional way. So that's your way of cutting it. That's the way the guy's been doing it. Grandpa taught me, his grandpa taught me, and so on and so forth. We lay down our straight edge, and that's yours truly in the picture, you know, wearing my Wolff gear. But it's so much work involved in this part. We make our line, and of course we have to speed it up because it takes so long. You had to line it up. Let's come back with a knife. Let's cut it. Whoop, I made a mistake there because I went offline with my cutter, and then I came back and I said, well, let's show it with the strip cutter. Let's set it to size and get the material in there, nice and easy. Let's get the blades on there. Get it fastened into whatever size I want. I can adjust it, and I actually put it on a plank seam there. Get it nice and set and pull through. When you talk about ease, again, warm butter with a hot knife. I mean, you can't cut that easy, that quick. I mean, it's just a phenomenal cut. Guide it on through. Good for, you know, I'm showing a pattern there so I can set, if I want to get a trim piece of a certain plank out, I can cut right down that line. Then I can come back and set it into where I need the new inset to go. Nice and easy. So productivity with the strip cutter. One pass through the material. What does that mean to you? That means once we get that material in, we can slide the cutter straight through. There's no hesitation. There's no pull. There's no hang up in the material with the cutter. Factory edge cut. So my knife isn't going back and forth, kind of like what I did in the video there. I kind of got offline from my straight edge. It's a straight cut. It's going to give you that factory edge, nice and clean. Plank cutting. like I did in the video, I cut one plank out so I can do an inset or a border. Precise width cutting, I set the measurements up to exactly where I wanted it to. Every cut is going to be that same cut every single time. And of course, it eliminates the straight edge. It becomes one of our safety first tools. Safety first. I don't no longer have to worry about cutting my fingers, changing blades, constantly changing blades, which can open up more cuts on my fingers with those exposed blades. And then lastly, and I think it's more important to me is I've got my guy off his hands and knees in half the time of the traditional way. I mean, there is no price. I mean, I would pay whatever price it is to make sure that my installers are staying healthy and to introduce this sophisticated way of cutting to our new installers, our new generation of kids that we're going to bring into this industry. Recaps, it's a multiple purpose cutter. I mean, like I said earlier, it can cut several different things for you. Risers, borders, inlays, feature strips, precise width cutting. It's got an on the tool measuring guide, and it is a safety first tool. Again, guys, this is going to conclude my portion. My name is Corey Dickerson. There's some info if you guys are in the Midwest and you want to get a hold of me. Give me a shout. If you're not in the Midwest and you have my information here and you still want to get a hold of some of our guys, give me a holler and I will be glad to point you in the right direction. I have been with Wolff Tools for 2 years, but I worked through distribution for almost 12 years selling the Wolff line. So I'm quite familiar with the entire line. We're going to continue with some more series, and we hope to have you guys join us for those. And at this point, Dan, we're open for any questions.
And you can also go to our website at wolfftools.com to look at any of our equipment or to contact us. All the information is on our website.
Right on. Yes, it is. And I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, guys, but once we got moving, that thing was pretty good.
So we'll leave the session open for a few minutes to see if anyone has any questions.
There's some questions in the question box. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Corey, do you see them?
No.
Oh, here, I'll read them off.
Okay.
Joe, let's see, we got one question. What's the max thickness you can cut sports rubber with a cutter?
With the strip cutter, or I mean with the rail cut?
I didn't specify.
The rail cut, the blade can adjust up to right at about ½ an inch. And with the strip cutter, I think the channel
5
is
millimeters.
layers. Yeah.
Which means it'll cut almost all of your sheet goods.
Yeah, it should cut through all the sheet goods. The only one that, like I've said before, the only one that I had an issue with was with girth floors with the strip cutter, and it was their I want to say Terraflex maybe, and I think that's a 7 or 8 mil. It's super thick, and that was the only thing that I couldn't get to go through. But I had the rail cut, so we were able to take care of it immediately.
All right, and there's one other question that says, how long is the rail cut?
One rail is 4 feet 6 inches. Right at 6 inches, you can get additional rails or 4 foot 6 inch. Hey Dan, they can add multiple rails, can't they?
You can add as many rails as you want.
Right on. I'm kind of thinking if a guy's running a rail, a 9-foot rail would probably cover the majority of the things that they want to get done. Unless they want one cut straight down through, and that's very rare. I would see it on a sports floor maybe. Yeah. Any
And
more
again,
questions?
guys, if you think of questions later, just email them to Corey or myself or on our website. There's a info link that you can go to, which will email the questions. Those will go to me. Any questions we will answer today. So if there's no more questions for now, we'll conclude the session. I appreciate everyone attending.
Thank you guys very much for attending.
Okay, I think we're good. Thank you, guys.